So here I think a lot of things have happened the last years, and it has coincidence with a speedy globalization, but also a tremendous digitalization that is now followed by urbanization. So I'm actually, in these days, rather hopeful about that we can have a new paradigm of development, because now we can also see the women.
Yeah, definitely. Radha? It's so difficult to change behavior based on deep-rooted habits. What kind of actions can help women to achieve a better level of consciousness and in this way bring changes to their homes and their communities?
Thank you for asking that. And I think I would, just before I answer that, I just want to build upon the two responses that have been provided. Michelle talked about the importance of role models and, for other women to follow as well, and the importance of partnerships that Gunilla mentioned. I think, but fundamentally, women have to have the opportunities. And if they have to have the time and opportunities, they can't be burdened with things that are taking inordinate amounts of time when we have technology and solutions available today that should really give them the opportunity to participate in their communities and economies. And so I come from it, I head the Global Alliance for Clean Cookstoves, and what we see is that women are at the heart of our families. Women are at the heart of nutrition. Women are at the heart of sustainable development. But unfortunately today, they're spending 4 to 5 hours a day collecting fuel, whether that's wood or any other forms of biomass for their cooking, and then using inefficient cooking, which takes another 4 or 5 hours a day to prepare their meals. So that's, let's say, 10 hours, almost half of the day that's gone in that process. That's too high an opportunity cost. We're sitting in 2012. The world is full of possibilities of how we can have better solutions, more innovation, and that's where we're very thankful for the Swedish government for supporting with financing innovation that will allow women the opportunity to be able to purchase, to have designed, appropriate stoves that can, get to addressing what their cooking patterns and habits are. So we don't intend to change cultures. That's not what we're all about. We intend to bring better solutions, many designed right in those communities that can help them move forward and contribute to their economies and communities.
Yes, please.
And can I just add with this excellent example, because it's solving an actual problem, and it's also helping to combat climate change and pollution, but it's also empowering women and creating new business opportunities, because suddenly there's a lot of changes taking place. And I think that's what development is about. And here I think it's an excellent example of solving a problem, doing it in partnerships, but also with the time that the women now have to do something else and to use her capacity. So that's why I think this is one of the good examples. But of course, there are some habits that needs to be changed when it comes to how the bread tastes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. No, absolutely. Those are some things that we need
but
to
Elda,
address.
may I mention something a little bit different, but it's also very important, because in many parts of the world, women are facing violence against them. And that is because of attitude, but also because of social norms. So I think, again, here, linked to what our friends have already said, you have also the need to work with the social leaders, with the religious leaders, with the community leaders. And let me give a terrible example, but unfortunately happening to so many women in the world: female genital mutilation. Yeah. Female genital mutilation is a social norm. Mothers take their children, so they are perform this terrible intervention. And it's because they believe that their children, their daughters, will have a good marriage, a good possibility in the future. So we have to change attitudes through empowering women on the areas we have been talking, but also we need to change social norms, working with the people, with the leaders, and transforming into more positive and constructive norm that will permit women to live in a better way.
Definitely, yes. Let me see the time. Well, we have a question from the audience. Well, I think the three of you can answer this. What is the most important tool for empowering women? Of course, we have been talking about this, exactly this, but is there anything you would pick up and say, this tool is very important, or most important of others?
Well, very quickly, I believe having women in decision-making positions. And that means having women in politics and women in the economy, because that will mean that you will have included in all decisions the concerns, the needs, and the solution for women's problems, and to work with women to solve and to be empowered and really can achieve women's rights.
It depends on where and who, but it can also be simple things like access to water and sanitation.
Water and basic.
Absolutely. And I think it stems from just awareness and education and their ability to engage in the solutions to the problems that they face. So whether it's at the highest levels of government or it's at the household in terms of determining what's the appropriate design of an energy solution or a water solution, you know, for their needs. If women are engaged in it, they're likely to use it, and it's likely to benefit their families as well.
Great. Well, I have another question. This is a huge question as well. What kind of scenarios do you see in the near future with the emergence of a new middle class that brings millions of new consumers? In Brazil, it represents 48 million women that want to enjoy the party. So they want to buy, so this is a pressure on sustainable environment.
I hope that these opportunities will be seized and that we are talking about development and continued growth, because that's also part of development, but to see how can that be inclusive and sustainable, and also to fulfill the needs that are there. There is a lot of needs that needs to be filled, and we have to work together with the market, but also to make the right choices and to be able to take decisions as a person, but also collectively, so that this is not ruining the future. And also to see that it's inclusive, because I think many women and men are not so happy if we see that my success is dependent on someone else's unfortunate.
Yes.
And here I think, and I hope